Give him a round of applause. Thank you for having me here. I'm Kenny Wallace. I'm a conservative activist here in Central Arkansas. I think I've been to the Saline County headquarters before. I think it was the first time was when I was helping in the Bush-Cheney campaign, and I was a volunteer for there. And I believe the last time I was here was dealing in defeating the Saline County Fairplex. That was another local tax increase. I'm currently a conservative activist. I have a North Little Rock address, but I'd like to say I live at the Arkansas State Capitol right now during the session. And a lot of activists around here are all the same. I mainly film a lot of the events, especially in areas where the legislature doesn't record, especially in the Arkansas Senate. Issues like taxes, campus carry, medical marijuana, tort reform, 10 Commandments, and other important issues. You can watch footage of these issues on the YouTube account Keep Arkansas Legal and Conduit Media Group. I also manage and help out in a lot of these special elections, and such as the last Bryant Millage Tax. I was the manager in defeating that one. And so now today I'm here to once again deal with yet another tax increase. What I want to go through is just 3 real quick reasons why we should vote against the Bryant School Millage Tax. Hold a second. First off, Arkansans are taxed enough already. That's kind of the acronym. That was the acronym for the Tea Party when it first started back under the Obama regime, and has been fighting against taxes on a federal level. We have a 6.5% sales tax, as mentioned before. We had earlier and I don't know, this is updated, a 40.2 cents tax for every gallon of gas. I believe we still have a capital gains tax. We still have the income tax. And of course we have all kinds of fines and fees on top of that. And Arkansas may end up with even more taxes depending on what happens with the state legislature. And of course, on a federal level, our nation's still $22 trillion in debt. We have a new president that is campaigned on unraveling that. I believe that was mentioned before. And I was actually hoping that he may do like Ronald Reagan and try to get rid of the Department of Education. I know Ronald Reagan, I believe, attempted that twice and was unable to do so because he had a Democrat Congress. We're hoping that this president will be able to do so. But even with that, we are taxed enough already. And so we the people in Arkansas has said during the last election, no more taxes. We're just tired of it. And our public education is a large part of the spending of those taxes. And so a lot of reform does need to be needed on a federal and state level. I have looked at some of the budget for the public education department, and they're spending millions of dollars on things like gifted and talented. I believe the governor's school is supposed to be getting lots of money. And some of these programs are maybe really good. But quite frankly, if you have kids that are eating out and having to eat in the rain because there's not enough room in the cafeteria, somebody like a superintendent of a school district needs to go and lobby and meet with the public education system on a state level to divert some of those funds to the buildings. You can go down there and lobby. I know, I've seen it before. Right now they're lobbying against the campus carry bill, among other things. So that's something that needs to be done, stop with the taxes. Another issue is the Bryant School District does have a problem regarding some of the spending. This tax increase would increase Bryant School District's debt to $96 million over the course of 30 years. Only about $65 million of that is going to buildings. Some of that is also going to pay raises. I've mentioned before, and during the last tax increase, that Bryant School District had recently hired Thomas Kimbrell, and he was at $200,000 a year. The new superintendent, and this was a story posted in the Benton Courier after perks and items, is supposed to be close to $300,000 a year. The average salary for Bryant is just under $32,000. And now a lot of people will compare it with other districts and say, well, we're not as bad as the other districts. And I'm kind of tired of that mentality. You can only say, thank God for Mississippi for so long. For eventually you just have to, you really do need reform in this system. And not just on here, but on a state and national level. Yeah, that's just way too much money. What's my time, please?
1 minute.
1 minute, thank you. And one of the other issues we've brought up, and this is on our material as well as on our Facebook page, Vote Against the Bryant Millage Tax, is the Common Core practices and some of these stories of indoctrination. When I first researched this, I found a story in 2013 of a 6th grader who was told to rewrite the Bill of Rights and conform it with modern times, and like in terms of gun laws and other changes made to the Constitution. When I talked about that on the Doc Washburn show, he had revealed a story of 11th graders who were told to write a writing project involving support of these leftist organizations and had to use leftist news sources. We then had a person call in and said that they had to pull, I believe, a 9th grader out because they were told to recite the Quran. And so what those issues, what those stories are things that need to be dealt with. Some have said, well, you need to get the whole story. And I say, well, you know, probably do need to get the whole story, but you need to get the whole story before you make a $96 million investment. And so what we're urging people to do is to call, Twitter, email, visit our Facebook page and tell people to vote against yet another millage tax increase. And you can visit us on Facebook at Vote Against the 2017 Bryant Millage Tax Increase. Email me at voteagainstbryantmillagetax@gmail.com if you want a phone bank. And that's pretty much it. I think that is it.
Thank you, Kenny. Appreciate it very much. Give him a round of applause. I know some folks probably have questions they'd like to ask or whatever, and I'd ask that after the meeting, hopefully the two of you could stay over for just a few minutes and answer any questions folks might have. Okay, a few other things, and we'll try to wrap it up. How many of you have heard about the Trump event this Saturday in Hot Springs? Ooh, about a third of you anyway, or maybe 40%. Okay, the Trumps, a bunch of folks that supported Donald Trump have been witnessing